Hey, what is up, guys? I'm Jay here with Cole, and
Right.
we're going to be doing a live commentary for Scream 4. Trying to get into the Halloween season a little bit here. And this has been one I've wanted to see again for a while, just because I don't remember much about it. But I do remember liking it, more than most people did. So I'm glad we're getting a chance to watch it again.
Yeah, I know it well. I'm a fan of the series. I know I've seen all the movies a lot of times. Yeah, I think it's a weird position for a sequel because you had a trilogy and then you had like a decade go by and a fourth movie, which is kind of a rare thing and kind of like a recipe for failure. I was happy there was going to be another Scream, but like people who were fans of it, I was kind of like, has too much time passed or like anything like that, and I don't know. I don't think it stands out as particularly good or anything, and you're really hoping, oh, maybe they can really do something new with it, but I don't know. I don't know what I would have come up with. But I mean, for me, at least it doesn't ruin anything. And actually, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's stronger than 3. I think 3 is easily the worst Scream.
Yeah, I was going to get there, and I feel the same way.
Like, the only thing I like about 3 is, like it just has like a certain kind of goofiness to it and some of the Miramax stuff going on and some of the familiar faces. You've got like Parker Posey. You got a cameo by Carrie Fisher talking about how she looks like Carrie Fisher. What's his name? The big guy. Patrick Warburton. So
Oh, wow.
I kind of enjoy it for things like that. But as far as the story goes, it's not very satisfying, and I don't know. Some people would even call it bad. I won't call it bad because I'm a Scream fan and I'm happy, to see the characters and stuff like that. And yeah, my main thing was I was thinking, for all the faults of Scream 3, at least they didn't really kill off anybody I really like or anything. And I was thinking, oh, but Scream 4, maybe they will. So I was all worried all over again, kind of. Because I saw this in theater. It came out in 2011, I think. So yeah, more than a decade after the trilogy had concluded.
I didn't realize it had been that long ago.
Yeah.
Because
Wes Craven's like that long ago.
Wes Craven's been dead for almost 4 years, right?
Yeah. Actually, not Scream 4. It was a few years later. Something he had done had just come out just around the time he died, didn't it? Or at least that he produced or something. Now that I think of it, there was some like Craven thing that was at least produced by him that came out just around the time of his death. Like, it's in theaters
the TV
after
show?
he died.
I think it was
Yeah, that's what it was. The Scream show. I liked the first season of that. The second season was not as good. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember them. They had canceled it, basically not been cleared for another season, and all of a sudden, I think it may have been Craven's death is what got it another season. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was right around that period of time when he died.
But I don't know. The Scream name is the only really reason why I would have watched the show. It had its moments where it felt kind of like it fit in the Scream universe, and then in others it didn't. I mean, I think it is. Was it a separate continuity? I think it was. Or I can't even remember now. So I can't remember if the Woodsboro murders were part of its world or if it was something else. No, the Woodsboro murders were not part of its world.
It wasn't? Okay, yeah.
It had a backstory of, remember, like some girl who was friends with like a disfigured boy and all this stuff. That was the backstory. Yeah, so it was actually not set in the same universe as the Scream movies. It was its own thing, and I don't know.
I'm getting it confused in my head with a lot of the similar. Like, what was the movie that everybody liked about the kids on Facebook? All that stuff.
Unfriended.
Yeah, I'm getting all those mixed up because they're kind of similar plots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because actually, like the way, because that's how the first season opens. It opens with like somebody filming these two girls kissing, and then like the big like hoopla it causes, for in their lives.
Oh, okay, that was Scream then. Okay,
yeah,
I'm right. Okay.
Yeah, that's how the first season starts. Is somebody filmed them and put it online, and it like blew up their lives, and then I think one of them kills herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it all sort of goes from there. The second season sucks because like most of the good characters are gone. Like only the bad characters are left over for the second season. If you ask me, like the second season, I only watched just out of like the sense of finishing something. But I don't know. But you're right. That's what it was. Like they were just like debuting the first season just around the time he died.
Mm-hmm. That sucks. But anyway, guys, if you want to sync up with us, we've got it right to the Dimension logo, so all the different versions should be able to sync it up there. And we're just go ahead and count down here.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And on 1, press play. 3, 2, 1, play.
Boom. Just watch my volume again. And it starts the classic way with the telephone ringing. So, do you remember this bit?
No.
How the opening works? The opening is kind of a gimmick.
Yeah, I remember it being a gimmick, but I don't remember exactly what happens. I know they just have tons of popular actresses around this period of time in this film.
Yeah, but most of them are just for this part. Yeah, so the first thing they have to do is talk about how... Yeah. See, the first thing they have to do right off the bat is talk about how horror has changed in the last few years since the last Scream. So they start talking about the Saw movies. And now they're talking about Facebook. So they very quickly, they get you right updated. They're like, okay, we're acknowledging the current world, how much things have changed since Scream 3. Because there was no Facebook for the old Scream movies. That's a phone, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, you should never trust a picture that doesn't have somebody's face. I mean, come on. But yeah, this whole opening's a bit of a gimmick. I do love the killer voice. It's a great voice.
Yeah.
Used in all the movies. Forget the name of the guy that does it.
I think he was doing conventions at one point.
Yeah, I don't know these two, but there's a couple more pairs coming up.
Anyway, I'm going to see if I can get the closed captioning turned on this thing.
Yeah, I've got it for mine.
I'm kind of lost.
Someone's at the door. Someone's at the door. Yeah, I'm not sure how much my volume is showing up on here. I've got one of my headphones off slightly so I can hear. So I don't know if anybody watching is hearing too much of the movie. I can turn it down a bit some more. Channing Tatum reference again. Channing Tatum was nobody during. No one's there, which is always the scariest thing. The third Scream was 2000. So it was which started a renaissance of slash. Which started a renaissance of slashers. Yeah, I guess I better turn it down a bit more again. But then, or sometime around 2004-ish, things started to change. You started to get the Saw movies, and then there's the influence, of course, of some of the Japanese movies that had come. See, it was all a movie. It was part of the opening for Stab 6. Being watched by these two. Again, I don't know who they are. I know Jay would recognize them. And they're saying how it sucked. The whole self-aware postmodern bullshit. Stick a fork in 96 already. Get it? It's being self-aware about being self-aware. Oh. Little Asian ghost girls. I remember how this one happens. Because you talk too much. Now, if this was really part of the movie, you'd think that is kind of interesting to have the Unmasked Killer. So you saw what happened. The first scene was a movie being watched by these two.
Right. And
which was also a movie being watched by these two.
Was that Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin?
Yeah. See, I knew you'd know the names. Anna Paquin did a couple things. She was in True Blood, which is that, and of course she's in the movie Trick or Treat, so she's done some horror type things.
Yeah, and she was also Rogue in the
I try not to think about. I like Anna Paquin fine, but I try not to think about that.
I like Rogue is like my favorite X-Men of all, so like I really didn't like the way they treated her.
Well, I mean, Rogue is kind of boring when you don't have her stolen powers added.
Right.
You know. I mean, now we have a perfect setup where we could show her stealing the powers from Brie Larson. Because for people that don't know the comics, that is why Rogue is a flying brick.
Right.
Rogue is a mutant that has the ability to absorb people's powers, specifically mutants, but other superpower people too. But the idea was if you hold on for really a long time, she can actually get them permanently, and that's what she did. She did it to Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel at the time. And that's why she became what's known in the biz as a flying brick, which means somebody with super strength capable of flight. But there were a couple times they depowered her in the comics too, because I remember a few years ago I was collecting an ongoing series called, what was it? One of those adjectives. Anyway, it was Uncanny. It was Uncanny Avengers, which was kind of like a mixture of an X-Men team with an Avengers team, and she was on it. And at that point in the continuity, Rogue was once again back to her original power set, where it was just the stealing powers, but she didn't have any beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're finally in the movie. These are the actual real people. After we've been faked out twice. I remember I went to see this in the theater, and everyone was like, "Ah!" Like when it happened twice.
Didn't they do that in the second film? Like there was stab that opened up with showing the first stab.
Yeah, but they didn't fake it out like we
okay.
were. It was the second one opens with them going to see the movie, but it's a movie right from the beginning. Remember, it's that black couple. It's that black couple at the movies. Yeah, this they try to trick you, right? It's like, oh, this is the movie. No, there's just two people watching the movie. Oh, that's also in the movie, and now it's finally the real movie.
Cell phones, man, they really date the hell out of things. Maybe a cordless home telephone.
Oh yeah, it is.
That dates it even more. I haven't had a home phone since 2004.
Wow. I mean, it's pretty normal for some, but I figured people that I don't know, have like a household with kids and stuff, they might have a home phone. I guess not. I guess some people still do.
Some people still do. Like my mom doesn't have hers anymore. I think that speaks a lot. She's kind of old school. She just has a cell phone now. She was like, all I get called on, is just like spam calls and stuff. So it's like no reason to keep it. But oh yeah, real quick, I misspoke. My favorite X-Men was Gambit.
Yeah.
And then Rogue, and then Wolverine.
Yeah. And that I've never cared about it, but that's like one of the biggest favorite relationships in comics. People love the Gambit Rogue relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There's been various miniseries based on it and stuff. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, Louisiana style.
Sure. Yeah. Gambit, the Cajun gentleman. Gambit's a cool character, though. When he was introduced, he had some mystique to him, too, because, You didn't really know whose side he was on. And then when Bishop showed up and Bishop was blabbing about there being a traitor that kills all the X-Men, he thinks it's Gambit. So for a while, fans did really think, is Gambit going to betray the X-Men and get them all killed? I mean, probably most people didn't think that for sure. But... So now she's into like some sort of weird unfinished part of the house.
Doing renovations or something?
Oh, okay. But it leads into okay. That's a garage, so that makes a bit more sense. I thought she was like still within the house proper.
Oh wow!
I mean, most door like
That's
mine,
funny.
you know, if it would just lightly touch you and go back up.
Right.
They have like
Well,
a
I think
motion
that's what they were
sensor,
saying. Oh, did it hurt her? Okay.
Well, they made sort of like a clunking sound.
Well, you know, Rose McGowan. I think that's how she was killed. So I thought
Yeah,
it
but
was
it's different for her. Remember, she got stuck in a little door thing in it when it went back up. She didn't get like crunched down by it.
Yeah,
no. Here once again we get like a shot of like the town square of Woodsboro.
Yeah, I tried to play Indiana Jones quite a few times when I was a kid, and it just kind of pushes a little bit of pressure and then goes back up.
Yeah,
you know, before the
mine,
days
it's
of
almost
the laser.
nothing. It would just very lightly touch and go up. Yeah. Mine had like a sensor, but yeah, I'd like to dive under it and stuff too and roll. Grab your hat. And there's the ultimate final girl. Sorry, I think she is. I don't. With apologies to all the ones in Friday the 13th and more classic ones, I still have to give it to Sydney. To me, she's the best of the final girls.
All right, Kenny Tar's asking if you like rice pudding.
No.
Me either.
I don't like any of those sorts of puddings that have like the skin on top and stuff. I used to eat this thing called, like my mom made, that was called like Hard Times pudding, but it wasn't really like a pudding at all. It wasn't like a liquidy. It's hard to explain. Maybe people have heard of it. There's Deputy Dewey, who is now Sheriff Dewey, and he's married to Gail Weathers.
And they were already divorced at this point, I think.
Yeah, they were. I mean, I don't know, and I don't care too much about that gossip shit, but at least they seem like one of the few like celebrity couples that after they broke up stayed fairly on good terms with each other.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
I guess. I'm not really sure.
I really dislike her character. Kirby. But yeah, this whole new set of kids are really annoying, which is one of my main problems with Scream 4. Is I realize you could say, like, the set of kids in, like, the original Scream, a lot of them were annoying, too. But, I don't know. I think they're a lot better than these guys. And there's Sydney's cousin, who used to date somebody named Trevor, and that will all be an important part of this.
The brunette is Sydney's cousin?
Yeah. Forget her name.
Is this supposed to be a high school person?
Yeah, they all are.
I mean, the one in the back is?
They're all supposed to be like the same age, yeah.
She looks like a 30-year-old prostitute.
Yep. It's funny, some of the guys look fairly age appropriate, yeah, and the girls look older than them, and she's a good example of it. What's funny is, like, for the first Scream, they pulled, like, most of the roles out of TV. I don't know where they pulled these people from.
Well, that was before Hayden Panettiere was on that country music show, so I guess post Heroes?
Okay.
Or maybe
I like
during
Hayden Panettiere, although I don't really know anything she's in. It's funny, I'm playing that game Until Dawn, and she's in that.
Yeah.
As a voice.
She was in this really like popular show. I'm not even sure the name of it, but it was like her and I can't remember the other woman's name, but they're country singers or something.
No idea.
Yeah, but it went for quite a. It may still be on for all I know, but it went for quite a while.
I know her from doing some voice work stuff. She's done stuff in the Kingdom Hearts series and stuff. And I know she was always very pretty. And I remember looking her up like years ago and getting furious to find out she was like dating like that gigantic Russian boxer.
Yep.
It made me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's not like I was going to date her. I didn't have a shot with her anyway. But sometimes, you know, you have that irrational thing on. Here's the cute little deputy that has a crush on Dewey.
And so Sydney's, did you say niece? Cousin?
Yeah, that. Yeah, her cousin. Yeah, cousin.
That's Eric Roberts' daughter.
Eric Roberts, the guy from Chips?
Julia Roberts' niece?
Oh, God, I have no idea. No,
that's Eric Estrada in Chips.
Yeah, extra. Okay. I don't know. I'm bad with TV people.
He's kind of like a B-movie guy these days, but he did some more well-known stuff. But yeah, she's on American Horror Story now. She's the main person on that show this season.
Yeah, so at this point, Sydney has returned to Woodsboro on a book tour where she's like talking about like it's like a book written to people that are like have been victims, how to like reclaim their lives and not let being a victim define them or some bullshit like that. There you go. They talk about their 7 stab movies, which makes sense because that's how these things work. I don't blame Kate. Yeah. About reinventing herself. Out of darkness. There you go.
I like how Craven kind of pokes fun at himself a lot in these. You know, making 7 stab movies.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's not just him. It's just sort of it's God, the genre, right?
It's like a 50-point font.
Not what I use.
Usually go with a 10 or a 12 myself.
But now it's a Woodsboro I can't relate to anymore because I'm old now, and I was old in 2011. See, when Scream came out, I was in junior high, and then as the others came out, I was in high school. So even though
I mean, some of these kids were like 17 years old, they're in their like late 20s now, so
yeah,
so they can't relate to it either.
Yeah. So now we have like sort of the new version of Randy, which is this idiot here with the headset thing on.
Culkin?
Is he a Culkin? Oh yeah, he is a Culkin, isn't he?
Rory or
I can't keep. It's not Kieran.
Yeah, I think it's Rory. It's the one that was in Signs.
Yeah. I think I like Kieran a lot because he was a brilliant I think it's Kieran. He was a brilliant casting choice in the movie version of Scott Pilgrim, where he's Scott's gay roommate. He's so perfect. Like he's one of the best casting things in the movie. He's like he walked right out of the comic. He's great, and he's really funny too. He's one of the funnier parts of the movie. So there's Trevor, who they used to be together, and now they're not. They give him sort of a similar kind of. See, they're trying to evoke the first one in some ways. Like he's reminiscent of Billy, the way he dresses and stuff. The white T-shirt. He doesn't have the '90s bangs. But.
Yeah. What is this headset this guy has on?
Yeah, he's like doing live streaming for his stupid website, and he's the big horror nerd. So that's like how they're trying to update like this movie. It's like there's live streaming now.
It's like Dangertainment.
Yeah. Danger. You ever go to a book reading by an author?
No. I've been to a few book signings, never a reading.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't think I mean, it's easy for me to say because it's not me, but I mean, if I could ever be a successful author, I don't think it's something I'd really want to do.
Oh no, I wouldn't think so.
But I mean, I get why people do it, and you want to sell books, and the best way to do it is get your face and name out there. And that's really not what I want to do. Like, if I happen to be able to write books, I don't want to have a public face at all.
Sure.
Like, it doesn't have to be like a secret who I am or anything like that, although I do write under a pseudonym. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But I just mean, I don't think I'd want to do like public things. And I get why, because yeah, I mean, that's a good way of getting the book sold. Probably when you sign with certain, I'd assume when you sign with like certain publishers, it's probably part of your contract that you have to do that stuff. You know, they want you to go on a promotional book tour. I really wouldn't want to do it.
No, I wouldn't either.
But I get it though. I mean, because it'll help get the book sold more, but it's just not my personality. It's not what I'd want to do. All right, so something's been planted in Sydney's rental car, and it's, oh my god, oh, that's not nice. By the way, for those watching, we're not 100% sure, but there's a chance of a bonus second movie that we're considering, if we can figure it out. We were thinking about maybe doing a double bill. We'll see how things go.
Yeah. And it just sucks. Things are like, they don't stay on platforms very often, so
Yeah.
you plan for
Yeah, it's
something.
always hard finding stuff that we both have access to.
Yeah. It's so weird how different it is.
Yeah. See, here's something I never experienced. Like sitting in class and like somebody like taking out their phone and being like, "Hold up, this shit just went down."
Yeah.
And everybody, you know, like that wasn't going on when I was there. The only time that ever happened really in my life was I've told the story a few times. It was my first week at university, because my first day of journalism was the morning of September 11th, 2001.
Wow.
So during that, we were about 15 minutes into class when somebody came rushing up and said something to the prof at the podium, and they were like, "Okay, so we're gonna break, and you might want to go turn on the TV." And yeah, that's what we did. That's like the only time that's ever happened. But nowadays, yeah, it's always like, I just saw this on Twitter on my phone, and this stuff happened.
Did you guys have a television in your classrooms?
Like in high school?
Yeah, in high school.
No, it was the same old thing, right? Like if you needed TV, you had to like send somebody down to like one of the rooms, and they would wheel it out. And yeah, we didn't have TVs. What's funny is the junior high that was built basically in my fucking backyard that Ryan and a bunch of my friends wound up going to. It was sponsored by IBM. So it was built in 1997. It was supposed to be like tech sort of modern school. It had like TV monitors and computers in every single classroom. So for things like the morning announcements where the principal would come on, he actually came on a TV screen and talked to people, but I never saw that. I never went to a school like that.
We had this thing called Channel 1, and it I don't know, it was like something that they started for a while and then kind of eventually abandoned, but we all still had televisions in the class that like weren't used anymore. But anyway, it was just basically a big marketing tool to sell shit to kids. But
yeah, I remember, watching various TV shows and stuff where they'd have like for a project, sometimes like kids would like produce a show that would like air within the school. Like, I don't know. I never saw or experienced anything like that in my life.
yeah, we weren't quite that sophisticated either.
Like, how big are some of these schools?
Yeah, they have like a huge like AV club and
yeah. No, my experience with all that is just within movies like this. As I said, I always see the two they only really show you two kinds of American high schools. The really fancy rich ones, where like the kids all drive to school in their Escalades and they have just everything so clean and great. And then like the high school high ones, where it's just like a fucking war zone, and there's metal detectors and graffiti and shit everywhere. Like, I know there's plenty of schools that are somewhere in between that, but they never show them in the movies. Okay, yeah. And so now they're talking about how they've had some weird phone calls reminiscent of the original things. It's the killer's voice from Stab. Oh, I mean, from your life. Something about Kirby really pisses me off. I don't even like her name. Kirby? For me, that's a pink marshmallow character from Nintendo that swallows shit. Maybe she swallows shit too, but
She doesn't throw it back up though.
Oh my god! Remember Bo Burnham? I always kind of liked him. Remember he had that song. I don't even remember. It was called Oh Bo, but there's a part that had nothing to do with anything. Where I always thought it was a funny line where he goes "Swallow, bitch! There's people starving in Africa." Oh man, it's pretty crass, but it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have the media whore that's oh, this is fuck me, wow. This is great. People are getting killed. I love it.
This is the new Gail Weathers.
I wonder how dead she is. Yeah, and they make a point of saying she's not half as cool as Gail. She's not tough and Survivor like Gail.
This is the girl from Community.
You're right. How come I never put that together?
Married to James Franco's little brother.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. But yeah, you're right. That's and I watch Community a lot. That's a show I always say I don't know TV. I know Community. That's Annie.
Annie, yeah.
Yeah, and this was during Community. This is 2011, so this is while she was on the show. So I'm really stupid for not remembering that. But it's funny because Community, she's so cute in this, and this she's so unlikable. But yeah, I always liked Community. That was a great show. I liked how it could always try different things for the format. Sometimes they had the show, it looked like an 80s cartoon. Sometimes it looked like they had ones that was Muppets. They had one where it was a video game.
They did claymation at one point too, I think.
Oh yeah, probably.
For
I like Community a lot.
Christmas episode.
What's hilarious is how Chevy Chase wound up leaving the show basically because he was just so much like his character in real life. He's just as much of a dick as the character he played, to the point where they couldn't have him on the show anymore, and then he just raged against them and said that he was the only reason it was a mediocre sitcom. I hated the guy they replaced him with, but oh well. It's like a lot of shows. Once you get into the later seasons, it's not as good.
Was it the old guy that they replaced him with, or the black guy?
They replaced him with some old bald guy who I hated.
Yeah.
I thought his character was so stupid. And
he was on the show before, but yeah.
Yeah, he was on the show before, and then he got a much bigger role. He became sort of part of the group after Chevy Chase's character left.
I can't remember.
Still good at quoting books there, Dewey.
The guy that created that show, he played some of the voicemails he had from Chevy Chase, about that.
Is that Dan Harmon?
Dan Harmon, yeah.
Yeah.
He was legitimately out of his mind.
Oh yeah. His whole career, Chevy Chase was just really known for being super difficult to work with and a total dick. Very few people have nice things to say about working with him.
It just really sucks because I like a lot of his movies a lot.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, again, it doesn't ruin it for me or anything like that.
No.
It shows how professional people are, right? That they can put these things aside and make a good movie still. Yeah, see. Once again, a call back to the original Scream. Here he is meeting her in the nighttime in her room with the new updated posters. No more Indigo Girls.
What do we got? Panic at the Disco or some shit?
That would fit. I'm not sure what we got, but that would fit.
Arcade Fire.
I'm always happy when a Canadian band is successful, but I've never really understood why people loved Arcade Fire the way they did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sure, I'm certainly more proud of them than, say, Nickelback, but, because I don't think they're bad, and I think Nickelback's pretty bad. What kind of world do we live in where, a couple of weeks ago, the President of the United States, because he was flipping out on something, because that's what he does, he like on Twitter had like a thing that had like an excerpt from a Nickelback. He used it from a Nickelback video. Something about how like a photo was faked or something like that. And then Nickelback had it taken down for copyright violation. Like, this is the world we live in, folks.
That's free press, man. Come on. I don't know. I mean, I don't like Nickelback or anything, but I really feel like they get a little bit too much hate.
Oh, it's way too much. I mean, again, I don't like them. I've never liked them. And I know for a fact that Chad Kroeger is a dick.
Oh, really?
Like, before they were big, back circa 2006 or so, when I was dating my girlfriend who I lived with and stuff, when she had been in high school, she was a few years younger than me, so this would have been like early 2000s. She had like a part-time job at the rink there where the major junior team played. And she would do stuff there, but also, so not just she didn't just work games. Sometimes when they did special events like concerts, she was there, and she was there for like a Nickelback concert once. And she said like Chad Kroeger backstage was there, like with like, I don't know, groupies all around him, like, and he was like shooting up drugs, and he had like his then 4-year-old son like with him.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I saw Nickelback in like '99. They actually came to my college.
Never actually saw them.
There was like them and like Puddle of Mud and like there was that one more band of that sort, and they all just like, it wasn't a good concert. Saliva, I think, was the other one. Remember Saliva?
I remember Saliva because they were on like some soundtrack. Like, basically, you want to know all that music? The Daredevil soundtrack. The 2003 Daredevil soundtrack is just all of that. Saliva has like 2 songs on there. Okay, now they're watching Shaun of the Dead. Speaking of Shaun of the Dead, just the other day, I completely forgot about the other movie those guys did, and I watched it. I forgot it existed. I saw the preview for it. Slaughterhouse Rules. It's not very good. It's too bad, because it has a fun premise. It just doesn't live up to its premise. Do you even remember that?
I saw you watched it. You mean Simon Pegg and Nick
Frost?
Yeah. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if they wrote it. I don't think they wrote it, and it wasn't directed by Edgar Wright. It was directed by somebody else. But it's like, it's set at like this super snobby private school that's out in like by the woods. And in the woods, there's this fracking company like doing like strip mining, and then they open up a big sinkhole and let all these like monsters out. It sounds like a really good premise, but it's not very good. I mean, it's worth a watch, but it's disappointing. It's not as good as their other stuff. I mean, it's hard to live up to something as good as Shaun of the Dead.
Oh,
nice
totally.
Bra. Nice, colorful bra on Olivia. But like you said, she's designated as sort of the sluttiest one, so she dies first.
Her face looks so old. She definitely has the body of a 17-year-old, but
Jill. Jill is the name of Sydney's cousin. Everything's gonna revolve around Jill. And there's a good reason why. Yeah. Oh, this is the end of this. I'll have to get another. You know what movie you're watching? Oh, The Closet Fake Out. Crap, I couldn't make out that poster.
it looked like a tour poster.
Yeah.
I can't tell what it is. I mean, like Dave Matthews or some shit. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, fuck. It's like it said something pig.
Yeah. Now I was looking at there was a taller, more vertical poster on the other wall. They only showed it once. That's definitely a band there on the right. I don't know what it is.
Blind
Yeah,
pig?
something blind pig. Yeah, liar. Right? You say liar. I didn't say your closet. Oh, I spoiled it a few seconds ahead.
It cracks me up that they give these people the time of day. Like, wouldn't you just hang up on someone doing that?
Yeah. I know. People call back, you can just block a number. Which is like part of my life. Like, for almost, it's pretty much stopped in the last few months, but for like over a period of like more than a year, there's this group of like idiots in my area that think I'm a woman in her 50s named Lorna. And all they did was call me endlessly, mostly in the middle of the night, mostly to ask so they could get like various prescription drugs. Sometimes to warn me if the cops were around. Like, they were obviously these like really shady, low-level criminal types, but they weren't like what you think. And a lot of them were like middle-aged women, and they leave long, like rambling messages on my machine.
Hey, girl, I just need to get some of those oxys.
Pretty much, but age it and make it Nova Scotia.
Uh,
Some of them had some fairly strong accents going too. I couldn't even make them out half the time. Okay, so slut number 1 is dead. See, what's good about Sydney is how proactive she's become, because she's been through 3 movies of this, and now she's just like, I'm not running, I'm going to confront this bastard, which is something I like.
Oh, yeah. I think she's probably had enough self-defense training to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's pretty unrealistic. How do you... Ugh, yeah.
I love the first stab. He stabbed through her hand. Oh, so brutal.
Yeah.
And realistic. Like, you would put your hands up for self-defense, right? Mm-hmm. That's the stuff they look for in like crime scenes, like self-defense. Or,
defensive wounds. Defensive wounds, yeah. Yeah. Like, when you don't have defensive wounds, it means either they snuck up on you, or maybe they were someone you knew and trusted.
Exactly.
Of course, in this case, we have a masked killer.
Who they probably do know.
More than one killer, because Scream has done that before. I'm sure I'm sure anybody that's watching this already has seen this movie and knows how it goes, but still, I won't do any spoilers. At least not any long-term ones. Yeah, you definitely don't want to go in there. Because they made a point of like yanking her intestines out.
Yeah, whoa, shit. She just jumped on top of his ass. That was badass.
Yeah, that's a good kick. He's like front kick to the face. Is that Anthony Anderson?
Yeah, I didn't remember him being in this.
He dies.
I'm sure.
I know the guy with him too. I'm pretty sure both those cops die. Yeah, they do. They deserve it. They suck.
I need some stitches on that.
What's great about, as early as the second Scream, which is the first Scream to feature black characters, they mention how like it's like basically understood that in slashers, like the black characters die, and it in no way inverts it. The black characters mention, "I'm probably gonna die," and then they die. There's no black characters in Scream that like outlive it.
Well, there have been enough, formulas to flip the script since then. So,
yeah, I'm not saying anyone can complain. I could say you could give credit to the movies for sticking to their guns.
It's that much funnier because it happens.
Yeah. In this one, it's a little different. Even though the cop here, Anthony Anderson, is black, he's gonna have a conversation with the other cop, not about like being black, but just like that in these things, the cops always get killed.
Yeah.
You'd think like 2 cops sitting in a parked police car are like the most vulnerable thing in the world, considering how often they get murdered in these movies. It happens in like Halloween 5. This one, definitely more. Where you have 2 cops in a park. Oh, does it? I don't remember. You've seen it recently. I don't remember. Purge most.
What's it called? Halloween 18 or some shit?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Halloween 18.
Is that? I forget the exact name of it.
It's just called Halloween.
Oh.
Which makes really little sense because it's not a remake. It's a sequel. So the sequel to Halloween is just called Halloween. so dumb. But we
And in
talked about this
between
before.
that, there was another film called Halloween. So let's not make it confusing at all. I mean, I'm not big on.
They need to make a sequel to Halloween Season of the Witch and call it Halloween 4. Just to confuse everybody.
That would be hilarious if they did, but
I would love to do that. I'd be responsible. Like, we need a direct sequel to Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4.
Yeah. I mean, I think they put too much thought into the title. They're like, no, if it's got a number, people aren't going to go watch it. Yeah, but giving them numbers can help you fucking keep up with which one it is in the series.
Yeah. This is like the only slasher series that stopped at 4. And for a lot of years, it looked like it stopped at 3. It's like, we got a nice tight trilogy, but it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's squeeze a bit more out of this. They're probably not done with Scream. It probably would just be like a reboot, though. I think they're done with the sequel, which is like the right way. Like, let's not drag the characters back again. Like, Sidney's 50. Yeah.
They may not be able to do it. I mean, it may have been something in his will or something.
I don't know. Kevin Williamson owns half of it.
Oh, he owns half. Okay.
Because he's the main writer for the entire series. Only if you can get Sidney. Yeah, so now we have a too long out of the game Gail Weathers desperately trying to get back into being a serious journalist. Which is why she's willing to like visit their pathetic movie club.
Uh-huh.
You didn't create Sidney, Gail. Well, here's something we've learned from the Scream movies too, is that if the killer attacks after he's killed somebody, and you have characters, and one of the characters gets slashed on the arm, but the killer gets away, that person is working with the killer.
Right.
Because that's part of it. It's just like, okay, I give you a superficial wound to make it seem convincing. Because, like, I think the same thing happened to Billy in the first one, where it was obviously Stu as the killer, and he, like... And, of course, later, they faked even, like, killing Billy with the corn syrup or whatever it was.
You cut me too deep, man.
Oh, Matthew Lillard's a funny guy. I never think about him, except somebody, like, a few months ago, again, just retweeted something he said. It showed up in my Twitter feed where, like, he was... Apparently, some people have been complaining that, like, meeting him at conventions, like, he would let, like, people that were, like, I don't know,
I saw that.
in wheelchairs or kids, like, cut in line ahead of them. They thought it wasn't fair, and he's like, "I'll always continue to do this."
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess. I don't
He's
care.
like, sorry, not sorry, man. Whatever. I mean, I get it.
I get it's your policy, but still, I understand, like, not liking people just cutting in front of you in line, no matter who they are. It's not a good feeling, you know?
I mean, if like Stephen Hawking Jr. rolls through, I would be cool with it. But I mean, not just everybody that, I've got, a lazy eye, so I get to go in front of you or some shit,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to draw the line on that stuff. But
it's funny. This is the first Scream that actually, I think, uses an underground parking lot, which is easily one of the best places to kill anybody for any kind of movie. Underground parking lots are not fun places to be in by yourself at any time of day, really.
By the way, have you heard about disabled people like making a lot of money by like going to Disney World and then people hire them to get them to the front of the line on the rides?
I hadn't heard of it, but it makes a lot of sense.
Pay them like $20.
Like, I have a wheelchair person. I'm the +1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You pay them like $20.
I might even do that if I had the opportunity, man.
Maybe this was like before the system they have now, the Fast Pass system.
I hate all that garbage. I mean, Disney World and Disneyland are just like various levels of paying. You pay this, then you have to pay this to get here, then you pay that. Like, everything is just another higher level of paying, and that's like what the Fast Pass is.
I just feel like a complete fucking idiot for doing anything Disney these days. I mean, like, it's just...
I would dearly love to go back to Disney World, but I have a feeling it just wouldn't hold up from what it was for me as a kid. You know,
Probably not.
you just see all the commercialism and stuff, and plus I always see pictures like showing that it's become like so overcrowded all the time. You know, I mean, I remember big crowds, and I remember long lines, but I don't remember any point where I felt like it was actually ruining the experience. But like I've seen enough stuff where people are just like, you can't get anywhere, you can't move, people everywhere. Like I don't know.
The craziest shit I saw the last time I went a few years ago was like there was so many people with like newborns. It would be like
So stupid.
a guy and a girl or whatever, and like a 6-month old baby. It's like that's
I
a fucking
hate people
nightmare
that
by
bring
itself,
those.
man.
Don't bring that anywhere. I mean, I hate to be
Yeah.
a jerk about it, and I don't mean that. I get it. It's a kid. It's a human being. But really, I mean, every once in a while, that all. Like, oh, there it goes. Let me blip for a second.
I don't know if it was me or you.
Ah, that doesn't matter. That was more drawn out than I remember. She's still alive.
She was.
Getting out is the smartest thing you can do.
Yeah, I always worry about your Achilles tendons.
I mean, you know that there is a killer. You know. And now, thing, like you suspect, and you get out of the car. I could sit in the car for 10 hours if that what it took. Which, like, I don't even remember why she comes out. Like, she thinks she needs keys or something like that. I'm like, time is on your side in those sorts of situations. You can outwait a killer because eventually people are going to show up. So I'm fine sitting in the car as long as it fucking takes. Doing this is not smart. That's why you die.
Oh shit! Damn.
Gut. Right in the gut.
Didn't know she died that early on.
Ah, so you don't remember what happens with her body?
Mm-mm.
Well, you won't have to wait long. Well, what are you doing? You're my wife.
So what is it, Chief Dewey now?
Sheriff.
Oh, Sheriff. Okay. I couldn't remember the ranking order there. Sheriff Doofy.
Never sound as good as deputy. I think she's dead. Oh, you're too late.
You think she's dead? Really?
He does check her pulse.
Good call, bro.
You look like such an idiot in that hat. I mean, I guess you have to do it for a press conference. Could you imagine like doing actual police work in it? Like chasing a perp? So another town curfew. Can't say that's anything I've ever experienced, a town curfew.
No, me either.
It pretty much takes something like this for it to happen. It's a pretty, see? You'd think there'd be like 5 people in this club. But there's quite a few. Because I get it, when you get into the 21st century, let's like a lot of the stuff that was geeky is more cool now. I just missed the cutoff for that. All the stuff I liked was still geeky. Nobody talked about it, and nobody gave a shit. And, nobody wanted to talk about like horror movies or comic books or anything like that. That was done behind closed doors in basements and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, all
But,
this shit was nerdy, before
yeah, nerdy, geeky, exactly.
become into the mainstream.
But Shriekwell, haha, hilarious. I mean, really, that was the other thing that they tried to do in Scream 4. They talk about this is a legitimate sequel, and we're going to make fun of the remakes because by 2011, like the remakes of the last 10 years were just insane.
Yeah,
and they even do it. There's a part later in the movie where they name all of them, and there's a lot of them. Like pretty much every classic horror movie, even the not so classic from the 70s and 80s, have been remade within the last few years in the early to mid 2000s.
yeah.
And like none of them are good. As I said, I actually do like the Hills of Eyes remake. I don't think it's great or anything, but I think it's pretty good. I never liked the original.
Yeah, but that's why. I mean, The Hills Have Eyes really wasn't that great of a film.
It has a pretty big following. I don't know if it's just because it's Wes Craven or something else.
I never liked it that much either.
I just feel it's thin. I feel like there's not enough to it. More should have been in it. More should have happened. Like, it's a fine enough concept. The bad guys are scary in a decent way. They're not going to go down in history like a Freddy.
It's definitely better than the second one.
The second one is pretty much unwatchable. I've watched it once, and I never will again. Doesn't it have like a flashback sequence, like where the dog remembers something?
It has the POV of the dog, I think.
It also, like, the main characters are like motocross people or something. Like some weird early 80s colorful bike gang. Huh. The Green Mile is one of their posters.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
What's funny is I remember when the Green Mile first came out as a book. It was weird because it was done gimmickly. It wasn't released as a single novel. It was released in like 5 or 6 like installments, the way they used to release novels back in like the 19th century. That's how it was originally released. And all the covers looked so dark and foreboding that I just assumed it was another horror book, plus it was Stephen King. It wasn't until like quite a while later that I realized that it's, not a horror story at all, really. But do you remember that like it actually was released in installments? I remember looking at them in like the drugstore and stuff. They were much only like, it was a really long book, so it was originally released, in installments. I don't remember how many. But I don't know if that's a gimmick they've ever gone back to again, but it harkens back to the way novels used to be released.
Yeah, no, I don't remember when it was first released. I just remember the film.
Its first release 96 or 97, something like that. In fact, well, it was released over the course of at least a year because, again, it wasn't until that was done that they finally released it just as a full book. First, you could buy it in smaller paperback installments. It's the only time I can remember ever any book by anybody being released that way. And again, it's Stephen King, so he can release the books however he wants to.
Right.
What are you looking at me for? Cat's right here, staring me down. So what do we got? We got Sydney talking to Jill. Jill's full of shit. So this is the part, I think, where the 2 cops are on detail outside the house. Of course, they were before, too, but it was the other house that they attacked. But same 2 stupid cops, because I guess they don't have much of a police force in Woodsboro.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So, they're having a... See, that's the other thing. They're supposed to be like the geeks of the school, but look how many people are coming to their stupid event. It's like the social event of the season. I mean, I get it. Not everybody's there just because they care about the movies. A lot of them are there just for a party and to booze it up or whatever. But still, it's kind of impressive. They even have a goddamn barn for it.
They really enjoy like murder and shit, don't they? Like they really like ham it up. Like
Yeah. Well, it's like that in the original Scream too, though.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm not Gail.
Yeah. I'm not some 40-something woman.
I'm hip.
But they do make a point of that in the first one too. I remember. I don't know if we did an episode on Scream or if it was a commentary, and I remember somebody like said like they couldn't believe how like nihilistic the teens were, and I replied and I said, trust me, the '90s teens were nihilistic as fuck. I said it was all about this kind of shit.
Yeah.
I said, we were influenced by the Gen Xers, which is really where it came from, right? The most cynical generation. So we weren't Gen X, but we were the generation that looked up to Gen X and thought they were awesome. Our heroes were Kurt Cobain and guys like that. In the comic world, Rob Liefeld, which is why you had the dark age of comics where everything was super dark, although a lot of it was pretty dumb too. But and violence and stuff. It's like when people like Venom and the Punisher were most popular, and so yeah. It is true. So, I mean, I feel like it's actually a little disingenuous because I don't feel like the later generation was quite as nasty, really, as ours.
She's setting these cameras up like in terrible places.
Yeah.
That one's like on the ground.
Yeah, what you can get? A shot of people's ankles?
Throw some hay on it, too.
And look how much work went into this. Pretty impressive for just some high school dorks throwing a party.
It's not realistic.
No. I mean, I can understand having a party, but look how good everything is. Like, all the decorations and stuff and the layout. I know we talked about this before, but I can't remember what it was. Like, what was the rowdiest audience you were ever part of at the theater?
I mean, honestly, like,
mine is a two-way tie, and neither was a horror movie.
Well, I know like the Star Wars, re-releases in the 90s were chock full of like nerds, like, acting and had lightsabers and shit. But
yeah.
Let me tell you,
I'm trying to make the distinguish more like rowdy though, like obnoxious and loud. Yeah.
I know one.
Yeah, I was part of big event crowds too, where everyone was super excited or dressed up. But I mean, what were like the most obnoxious and rowdy audiences you were part of? Like, what movies were those? For me,
say, like those nerds, like they shut up when the movie came on, though, so they weren't like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the distinction I'm making, right? Like, I know what it's like to get to a big movie and people are super excited and into it and stuff. But I mean, what was like the most obnoxious thing for me? Oddly enough, it was Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Like, the people in that were nuts. Like, people were yelling and saying stuff to the screen, and oh man, it was a madhouse. And then one that makes perfect sense for me was years later when I was an adult was Snakes on a Plane. Because we all knew what it was about and what was going down, and fuck it if anyone was going to take it seriously. The best part, like, is there's that part in the movie where like there's this black guy who's on there, and there's a part early where like there's these two innocent kids, that they had to be protected and they won't die, and like I don't remember, they're traveling without their parents or something like that, and like one of the stewardess or somebody comes down and says, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay." And who's on this plane? And they're talking about how like there's a star, but when she goes, "And who's on this plane?" Some guy in the audience goes, "Snakes!" And everyone's like laughing.
That's
so
funny.
Yeah, those are the two like rowdiest audiences I was part of. And I remember when I saw Jurassic Park: The Lost World, again, this is in theater, like one of the longest lines I was in, stretched outside the theater, was like there's a part where they're hiding from the T-Rex behind the waterfall, but then the T-Rex, like, his jaws like come through the waterfall biting at them. Some guy like goes, "I would take a big shit," or something like that, like really loud for the whole theater to hear. Those were like the two ones for me.
I mean, I saw Saw 2 one time, and there was a guy that got alcohol poisoning in the theater.
Oh my God.
But, I mean, it wasn't like particular.
Did like paramedics come in?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, they had to stop. I mean, they stopped the movie and everything.
Wow, no, I've never had like an emergency happen. I know Ryan saw some crazy stuff back in Sydney when he worked. Sometimes they would like bus people in. and they would just come and, you know, they weren't there to watch the movie. They were there just to fuck around. Which reminded me a bit of like how like kids sometimes would act at like the hockey games, but at the hockey games, at least it's sort of a loud environment and it's kind of okay in some ways. I mean, you're not like if you're just running around, like the security will like tell you, like, kids, find your seats. I even remember them telling it to me back at the old Oilers games and stuff like that. But I just mean in the theater, it's so much worse. And sometimes you feel bad for the kids. I remember my mom barely ever gets to the theater, but she went to see the Da Vinci Code when it came out. And she said there was like these stupid parents like just like dropped their kids off. Like their kids were like 6 and 7 in the theater like to watch, and they weren't interested and they didn't care and they made noise. And my mom, like, she wasn't mad at the kids. She's like, what the hell are you doing, like, dropping these kids off at this movie that they have no interest in? Yeah, so here's the angle that didn't quite work out for the movie. Because when I, you know, read about the movie and saw previews for it, it's like, okay, like, the angle's going to be, there's going to be, like, a lot of live streaming and stuff. And it doesn't really add much.
So whose camera was that?
Yeah, the killers. That's the thing. She's finding cameras that the killer has set himself. That's the big revelation, is that the killer's been filming the kills in various locations. So at this point, I thought, hey, maybe she's actually going to die. She survived 3 screams, but wait, no. Deadshot Dewey, of course, misses completely.
Dead-eye Dewey.
Good job there, Sheriff.
Again.
Yeah.
Maybe spend some more time on the range, buddy.
Yeah. I realize that when you're a cop, like, being able to shoot is actually a way less important part of your job than so many other things. But still, yeah, you should probably work at it if you're not good at it.
Oh, I mean, that's a pretty easy shot.
Oh, yeah, he's right up there.
How funny would it have been if he had shot Gale on accident?
I think you almost expect him to.
No.
I can't believe how he gets like the absolute. He gets stabbed like so many times in the second one, and he still lives. Like, you think for sure he's dead, and I guess that's the point. They're supposed to fake you out that no, Dewey actually survived. Here's the part where they talk about, yeah, the cops, they always die in this situation. See? Not all cops die.
Stab wounds are funny. Like, if you manage to miss, major arteries and blood vessels and stuff, you can get stabbed, a good bit and not die. But
well, even bullet wounds can work that way sometimes. People get shot in the head and live.
Yeah.
Without brain damage.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that always happens, but I mean, it's something that happens. It's just weird. Like, yeah, how it goes with like internal organs and bleeding.
If they go and just stab someone in the stomach and they die instantly, I mean, I know it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
although again, like, think about like how Brandon Lee died. Like, he didn't get shot by a real bullet. He got shot by, like, I don't know, like a piece of something that flew out of the gun and hit him, and it hit him in the stomach. Really? He even got him to the hospital, and he died at the hospital.
What, the blood loss?
Maybe. I don't know if it was blood loss or what it was. But, I mean, the thing was, it was an accident. It wasn't somebody trying to kill him. It wasn't an actual bullet. He didn't get hit, like, in the heart, and yet all that, and he still died.
That's so crazy. And, considering who he is or who he was.
Well, it lived up to, like, the thing about, like, him and his father being, like, sort of cursed. The idea that, like, and he used to lean into it because he heard about it beforehand. How people said, you're going to die young. And so he used to ride around on a motorcycle without a helmet. He was in good shape, but he smoked a lot.
Oh,
and stuff like that. Like, he just sort of leaned into it. He's like, I'm going to die. I might as well live. He was trying to be cool about it.
Yeah, I've seen interviews, people talking about Bruce, and they're like, man, he was like the healthiest person I knew, like, when he died.
He was basically a 32-year-old superhuman, and he died.
And what did he die of? I mean, did they ever nail it down?
Not that conclusively. The closest thing is, like, it was just, what you hear about a lot of these things, like some sort of, like, weird reaction to, like, several drugs in the system.
That
He
sounds
had a
fishy.
thing with like headaches or something, and I don't know, he was taking some sort of thing, and he was super careful about what he put into his body,
Sure.
obviously, right?
He's just sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit.
See, now, like, how slow are you to react, buddy?
Oh, I say, damn.
Could you really put a knife through somebody's like forehead, though? I don't think.
I think it would take a little more force than that.
Yeah, maybe if you were above them coming down, but straight on.
God, can you imagine getting stabbed in the fucking brain?
Yeah, I mean, like, again, it's your brain, right? So he might not even be feeling any pain.
Yeah, he's blind.
Like, all pain might have been just wiped out for him.
It took out his sight.
You know, because if you get hit in a certain part of your brain, like, suddenly you don't feel anything. It's just complete numbness. Because the brain's always sending signals down to your body, which is like, even when you're not doing anything, if you're standing, your brain is sending signals down to your body so that you're, you know, distributing your weight properly and keeping yourself up. That's why, like, in fights and stuff, guys don't get knocked unconscious, but if you take a good enough hit in the right part of your head, it's like disrupted just for a second. You stop sending signals, and that's why you fall.
It's like your legs stop holding you up. You just go limp.
Yeah. Your brain just stops sending the signals just for an instant, and you drop.
And you don't have enough time to recover while someone's like pounding on your face.
Yeah. Which, I mean, when I first, like, that's why I didn't watch MMA for a lot of years when it first started, because I thought it was kind of brutal. But now I realize it's actually not that bad, because the whole point is the ref will stop that usually.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, in boxing, where you get a standing count, in many ways, that sets you up for much worse damage. Because then you could just, like, subject yourself to a much longer battering.
I mean, I don't know any like MMA fighters that are like straight up like retarded, like a lot of the boxers are.
Yeah, and
those guys just
I've heard about the odd MMA fighter dying, but boxing dying, that's like a normal thing, right?
Yeah, but it's like
like the last MMA fighter that died that I'm aware of died boxing.
Yeah. It's that thing you're talking about, that standing count. Like, you get hit in the head, you fall down, you get up, you get hit in the head again, you fall down again. You know, you do that the entire fucking thing, and wind up with like multiple concussions and stuff. And then Will Smith makes a movie about it.
That was about like football concussions, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty weird. Like, I remember like those statements they used to make in the NFL about that. Like, it was such transparent garbage where they'd say stuff like, yeah, we're going to look in to see if there's a correlation between brain damage and like what kind of maybe you have brain damage. Like, you think getting smashed in the head all the time might have a correlation between that and brain damage? Maybe. I mean, football, the point of contact is not supposed to be the head, and yet so often it just is anyway.
They've got so many rules about helmet-to-helmet contact. They're really trying to crack down on it, but
I mean, hit to the head were completely legal in hockey for most of its existence. It only became illegal like 15 years ago.
Those are much smaller helmets too.
Yeah. Orc and I would go back and forth. Like, I'm never trying to say anybody's tougher than anybody. Both sports can lead to some terrible injuries, and you have to have a lot of toughness and stuff like that. But I mean, it all depends. Because like in football, you can get hit by a guy that's like 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody in the hockey players are big, but nobody in hockey is that big. But at the same time, there's like force involved by the speed. But you can get hit by somebody going way faster. For instance, when I played, the heaviest I ever was probably maybe 140 pounds. But if I could hit a guy properly, I could knock down a guy that was like 50, 60 pounds heavier than me. No, I didn't hurt him, but I could send him off his feet if you hit him at the right force. So when you have like a big guy hitting a little guy with that speed, you can really somebody. I mean, the only concussion I ever got was playing hockey, and it was because the guy wasn't that heavy, but he was so tall that like basically his elbow was like level with my head. He rattled my head off the glass. The puck got chipped into my zone. I was the defenseman, so I went into my corner to get it. I saw him coming, couldn't do anything, so I just sent the puck up the boards, and he rattled my head off the glass, and it didn't really hurt. But have you ever like been in the tub or underwater or something and like lightly hit your head against something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say you're swimming in a pool and you like tap your head against the pool wall. You hear that thunk? That's what I heard. I heard thunk. and suddenly I couldn't see over this side. I couldn't
Oh,
see
wow.
to my left, and I barely made it to the bench. But this was intramurals hockey. We didn't even have a coach. We're just a bunch of guys playing hockey. So I just finished the game like nothing was going on. I mentioned on the bench a few times I couldn't see properly. What we're going to do? We were down to 5 defensemen, so I just played the rest of the game.
In hindsight, it's probably not the best idea.
Then I went to the hospital later that night. Got to sit around forever just so the doctor could tell me something I already knew, which is you have a concussion. But I mean, it wasn't a bad concussion or anything. I didn't have any symptoms like days later.
What did they say? Were they like, don't go to sleep and stuff?
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
So what did
you
up for a certain period of time?
Yeah, it was like I had to wait until like I felt like a painkiller kick in or something, and then it was okay. I don't know. It was a Tuesday night because that's when we played hockey, and basically he said like, if by Friday you still have pain or if you're like throwing up or anything like that, come back. But I was okay. He didn't even tell me I necessarily had to miss the next game, but I skipped the next game just sort of as a precaution, and then I played the rest of the season.
Especially since it's intramurals.
Yeah. It wasn't a particularly violent hit. Again, it just had to do with how high he was and the fact that I hit the glass probably too.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing I say to Oric. I was like, well, at least they're hitting turf. In hockey, you either hit like glass or boards or ice, and ice is like concrete, man. That's why, for instance, like in fighting, fighting isn't so dangerous for guys, even though obviously you're getting punched in the face a lot in hockey. But what they change it is like you're not allowed to take your helmet off anymore because too many times guys have fallen and smashed their head open on the ice during a fight. So now you're not allowed to take off your helmet during a fight. But I mean, the old days, the first thing they do is after they drop the gloves is they take their helmet off. Now you got two guys wearing helmets with visors punching at each other. That's got to be an interest. I mean, fighting's way down. It's not like it used to be anyway. But I mean, there's still the odd fight. So it must be a weird adjustment trying to punch a guy that has a visor on.
Yeah, I guess you have to really get it in there, huh? Really angle it.
Yeah, and the whole thing's super awkward, right? Like a fight in hockey is not like anything else. You're standing, sort of holding on to each other, kind of spinning in a circle, just winging. Okay, so now we're at the after party. The long-haired geek is super attracted to Kirby for some reason. The green guy doesn't care because he's gay, although he hasn't said so yet, but he will.
Oh, really? Okay.
He says it right before he dies. He's like, I can't die, I'm gay. But it's like, screw that rule. I don't think it was ever a rule anyway. I mean, there's a whole thing in fiction called barrier gays, which usually means gays almost never make it out. Although that's usually not in like a horror movie situation. It's just in a normal thing. It's like it can be a completely normal sort of story, not horror, and yet by the end the gay guy's dead anyway. Okay, so the ex-boyfriend's back, insisting that he's not a killer, saying that he got invited here. It was from your phone. She's like, you don't have your phone. The killer must have your phone. I think I talked through the part where they have the back and forth about like some of the horror movies, because like he wants to know if she's like legit or something, and she says like I love Suspiria, and he's like, oh, sexy or something.
Yeah, you're right. Like the hottest girls in school are over at these nerds' house or wherever the hell they are. Like these guys aren't nerds. They're like the cool guys.
Yeah. And it's her house, I believe.
Oh, it's her house.
Kirby's house. And actually, the jock type guy is the guy they're saying we didn't invite you because he's what's her name's ex. But yeah, we're gonna hang out with nerds.
And did you ever see that 21 Jump Street movie?
Yeah, that was what I was talking about. Yeah, they comment how like it had changed already by like it's set in like 2010, and they're like when we were in high school, like it was the other way around. And yeah, that really is the phenomenon, but it is true.
It's like
how like all the nerdy stuff is like, yeah,
like, called him gay or whatever, and like, hey man, are you okay? And like they were the cool people, like the ones that drink juice and recycled and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good if in our schools kids are learning to be more respectful to each other, but I don't think that's actually what's happening. I just think they're finding out certain things. They'll just find something else to like mock you for.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey man, it's not cool, he's gay, leave that alone. That's okay, they'll find something else.
That's a youth thing. I was guilty of that a little myself, but
yeah, sure.
Not nearly as
I don't
much.
think that means you're a horrible bigot or anything. I mean, sometimes it's part of the way.
You do stupid things to try to fit in sometimes.
Sure. He's
But
drunk for some reason.
he's been drinking quite a lot the past 60 seconds. So
Yeah.
he's
He's really upset. I don't know why. Shouldn't they be thrilled that the killer showed up to their party? Isn't it the best thing? And yet he's acting like everything's ruined. Geek history. See, he's still proudly calling himself a geek, but it's not like he's any sort of outcast. His movie club is wildly popular. Everybody shows up to his party. He's hanging out with the hottest girls in school, even though he's gay, whatever. But I mean, still, they'd be the it crowd. It'd still be important. And of course, that's the other thing too. That's always been an old standby of most gay guys, right? Is even in the days when they were much more discriminated against, they were often a useful accessory to the popular girls.
Right.
They liked having the gay guy around. I don't know why exactly. I guess they thought that he added something to their group. Plus, they thought, here's a guy that's on our side.
Maybe. That's all backwards now. That's going to come into play.
Yep. Oh, there's the movie from the start again. Stab 6, or possibly 7. Now they're going to have some stupid, awkward flirting. What's she wearing? She looks like she's wearing business casual. She's going to go out for brunch with, the executives.
That haircut, too, man.
That's what I mean. She looks like some sort of, I don't know, high-powered executive, in the world of finance. She's going to go over the figures. And yet she's a high school student. It's all business. It's sexy business, but, it's not really.
She's so not going to kiss him. Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah.
Bro.
No, he finally does win her over for whatever reason, even though he's kind of like a greasy.
You're cock blocking me, bro.
Yeah. And he's going to sit right in between them.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. They're actually not together. Goes. Yeah, that's kind of what happens in every scene. I'm not sure why you think that's special. They think they're safe, and then he comes in and bam! It's wow, you must love all horror movies ever, because that's every single scene. Yeah, see, now she's flipping out again. The killer invited me, so he or she can kill me, duh. Now let's all split up in this large house.
So is he talking to the streaming community right now, or whoever's watching the video?
Yep. Apparently, he has an actual audience.
Let me check out my live feed here.
Put it together, you lush.
Huh.
There you go.
I really don't think it would have taken him that long. I don't care how drunk he was.
Well, they exaggerate things in movies.
Yeah. Damn.
Lunch. I love that one. It's like a diving, leaping stab. Yeah. See, you're talking about the rules about he's gay.
So is this this killer here? Is that Sydney's niece?
It's hard. It's another case where there's two killers. So right. Yeah, it has to be.
She's one of them, though, right?
Yeah, Jill's one of them, and the greasy-haired bastard's the other.
Oh,
again,
really?
They're not believable as killers because neither is very tall or powerful. At least in all the other Screams, it was plausible that the killer was who they were. But in this, it's just I mean, really, even if you say it wasn't Jill, it was the guy. So it was the guy that picked what's-her-name up and tossed her off the building. He's a 98-pound weakling.
Yeah, she probably weighs more than he does.
Yeah. So yeah, neither are very believable as the killer.
As he's brutal, powerful.
Yeah. Taking hits and stuff.
Stabbing through foreheads.
Mm-hmm. Run. So that's obviously the hair guy.
Yeah,
It
that's
can't
weird.
be. Yeah. There's other parts in the movie where you can't tell. Like, ooh.
See, I feel like he would have died right there, like falling down those stairs. No way he would have hopped back up.
Yeah. I mean, he seemed like the type of guy to be like, oh, he'd be like, oh, it hurts. He doesn't seem like a play through the pain type of guy. I mean, the only thing you can think is like maybe like he's all like hopped up on amphetamines, but they never say that. So here he is smashing through the door. That little geeky guy with the long hair. And when it's not him, it's a girl, like an ordinary sized high school girl, not like a big jock girl. So no wonder Sydney's not afraid of this killer. She can beat them both up.
Right.
But no, I have to make it. It's almost like you put on the mask and suddenly you're just like a superpowered killer.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's something I really like about the other meta referential killer movie, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, because he talks about how demanding it is physically and all the challenges he has to put up with and stuff. It's cool. Can't believe that still doesn't have a sequel. That was a great movie. I love that movie.
I think they did like a comic or something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or they've done something to
I
continue.
still own that movie. I'd really like to buy that movie. Maybe find out some stuff about the making of, because I really don't know. But I really enjoyed that movie.
Let me check. I swear I saw something that was like a Kickstarter or something.
I mean, that came out in 2006. That's old. That's like way older than this movie. But yeah, I think that's one of the last really great slashers. So now he's disrobed. Another callback to the first Scream. The first Scream is better though because it's both of them. It's Stu and Randy, and they're both babbling, saying, and Sydney won't let either of them in. She goes, "Fuck you both." I'm like, that's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because here's our fake out kill. Jill coming up behind him. And then we're gonna have one of our weird games, but it just doesn't have the same impact. Yeah, see, again, the game, like the game they played with Cece in the first scene of the first.
Right.
Some trivia for you, but there's no way you can beat Kirby because despite her power executive attire and rich bitch stuff, she's actually a big horror junkie. Sure, she is. So yeah, here's where she's going to name like every remake.
Name every remake. There's no way they got them all.
No, but I mean, it's quite a few. Up to 2011, it's pretty good. He's the expert, not me.
Here's a article from Bloody Disgusting on March of 18. It's called Before the Mask.
It's like a prequel, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a prequel sequel thing.
Here's where he talks about Peeping Tom.
What's the sequel to Peeping Tom?
Oh no, that was another question. He wanted to know about what would be considered a slasher. So he said Psycho, and he's like, no, it was Peeping Tom, even though they came out the same fucking year.
It's a great movie, too.
Here we go. Name the remake of the groundbreaking horror movie in which the villain... And then she just interrupts him. Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, Dawn of the Dead, The Hills Have Eyes, Amityville Horror, Last House on the Left, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, My Bloody Valentine, When a Stranger Calls, Prom Night, Black Christmas, House of Wax, The Fog, Piranha. So, quite a few.
Yeah. I could probably
Again, those would have all within the last 2 years.
like 30
for
more.
that. 30 more since, yeah.
Well, since, yeah, but I'm talking about then. It was just
Oh, then too.
so many of just like lesser known films.
Lesser known ones too, yeah.
Those were all pretty successful ones.
She name checked the ones that like are known.
I guess My Bloody Valentine probably wouldn't have been on there if it hadn't been a pretty successful remake.
As remakes go, it's not as bad as others. I still don't like it
at all.
But that's another case where I'm like, My Bloody Valentine is one of my favorite slashers. Period. Like that's top 5 for me. Yeah.
You're never gonna get any now.
I know. And really, that's your whole justification? I liked you for a long time, but you didn't like me. Now you do. It's too late. Like, what the hell? This is another one of those people who thinks high school is the end of their lives. Although, again, he probably has some sort of, like, suicide pact with Jill, right? Like, me and Jill are in love, and we're going to... I don't know.
Jill gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I'm not really a fan of them bringing back the 2 killer thing again, at least it has a somewhat different angle, because instead of being partners, it's like he's, like, in love with Jill. Like, he'll do whatever Jill asks him to do, including kill. And, of course, Jill's just going to betray him because she doesn't give a shit about him. Which is always so surprising. Like, I can't believe that the girl that murdered her own mother would betray me.
This guy definitely did a few lines of Adderall before he started running after these people.
The reveal. Yeah, but you had the camera on for that part. You should have turned the cameras off before that, if you're worried about the cameras being found. This is where the cameras turn off. Yeah, but you already showed your face to the audience.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so here, they say they're deliberately trying to, recreate the whole thing of the original thing. With him standing in for Sydney's father. Well, maybe you shouldn't be putting out at such an age.
True.
I mean, she's mad that, like, she, like, gave herself to him and then he dumped her. And I was like, well, how many people think that, like, their relationship in high school is going to, like, be forever? Like, yep, this is the person you're going to marry and be with forever. It happens sometimes, but it's not really a...
Oh.
It's never confirmed that he cheated on her. Well, all we know for sure is that he dumped her and moved on. But whatever. Killers always have to ramble, and she shouldn't have shot him in the head. She should have let him writhe in pain a little while longer.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a paintball gun. As much liquid shot out of his dick.
The blood effect. Yeah, see? Sydney and Randy. And I mean, this does sort of fit the times, 2011 and now, which is like people that want to be famous for no goddamn reason. Because that's what drives Jill. Like, she wants to be famous. And that's what everybody wants. They want to be an influencer on Instagram.
Yeah, that would be the terminology now they would use.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross.
Now we're going to do the part where we pretend to stab each other, except I'm going to kill you. This is the weakest justification ever, too. She had such a terrible life because her cousin Sydney was famous for surviving a series of brutal murders.
Like that's her fault, though? I mean...
Yeah, exactly. You're always so fucking special. Yeah, I know.
Would it have been better if I died? I mean...
I know. And she also is so twisted that she thinks Sydney must have really enjoyed the fame. Like, you must love the fact that all your friends were butchered around you and you kept surviving and how famous it made you. Old school, Billy and Stu. Yeah, you remember what happened to Billy and Stu, you idiots? Oh, that's not the shoulder. And I thought you were really savvy to this stuff, but you're too dumb to see that coming. Again, I can buy it though, because he's a stupid high school boy in love who thinks he's in love with a girl. So I get it. But look at him. How is he like throwing people through windows and? I'm a psychopath, obviously. You know, if you weren't Sydney's cousin and didn't have this cousin that lived all through this, what kind of direction would your life take then? You'd still have your desperation for fame. I wonder what sort of form that would take. I mean, she says, like, I'm not going to work, which is, again, part of sort of that generation. It's like,
Right.
I just want to be famous and get money that way. Like, I'll go on, you know,
Sense of entitlement.
Twitch or whatever, you know. Well, that's what's scary. I mean, you understand a cold-blooded psychopath having a sense of entitlement, but to just see ordinary, fairly mentally, you know, healthy people have the same sense of entitlement is very disturbing. There's a good little bit here where she beats the shit out of herself. It's like Ed Norton in Fight Club. I remember years ago when they used to have those. They probably still have them. I just lost track of them. But I remember watching, like, it was like the MTV Movie Awards or something like that, and they give like awards for weird things. So, like, best fight scene. It was several fights, and I think the fight scene that won was Ed Norton versus himself, where Ed Norton just throws himself around the office. I think that might have actually won. It's kind of funny. For some reason, the part that bothers me the most is her yanking out her own hair. I don't know why. It's just yanking out hair, but just the way it. You can rip hair out painlessly.
Oh, fuck.
Like, why would you do it that way? They would still have your hair. You just have to be a little slower and more cautious about it. But I don't know. Maybe she's crazy. She likes pain. There we go. Shoulder yourself. See, she's going to brace it with the wall. For the finale, throw yourself through the coffee table. Yeah, she's actually not done. I give her credit for the commitment.
What if she actually killed herself on accident trying to make it look
I know, like she cuts her like femoral or artery or something, and then just bleeds out.
People, yeah, you can't fuck around with glass, man.
Yeah, but she's about to.
I don't think that would be enough to do it either.
To break it?
Well, maybe it would. I don't know.
Depends on the table, I guess.
I mean, she jumped a little bit, but I mean, she basically just fell backwards into it.
Surprised she can get up after that. Gotta get the victim pose. Classic. I don't know. Even if her plan worked, it wouldn't really last very long. Can you imagine going through all this just so you could be like a famous victim and stuff? Like, she'd probably have to kill more people just because she likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody sick enough to, like, do these sorts of kills doesn't just stop. So even if everything went perfectly, Sydney died, and everybody thought she was the victim, and she was the survivor, and she got all the fame she wanted, she'd probably eventually just do a bunch more murders. She'd be like, wait a minute, Sydney survived this, like, 3 times. I had to recreate this several more times.
Yeah.
It'd be exhausting. This is all I ever wanted. Microphones in my face.
Man, they would be there that fast?
I don't know.
Fucking police just got there.
I know. It's California. I don't know.
No.
You made it, Jill. I, the hero cop, saved you.
I checked everyone else's pulse. You're the only one that lived.
If only I'd been there with my spectacular accuracy. Plus, I think there's all sorts of other stuff that wouldn't match up with the idea of Trevor being the killer anyway. Like, there's probably parts where Trevor would definitely have had an alibi for some of those kills.
Yeah, good point. She didn't think about that.
No.
So what is he
Which,
saying?
again, I think makes sense.
Is he saying he knows that it was her?
No, he's saying, don't worry. Sydney might make it. So that's the whole thing. He's telling her that she's not necessarily ill and survivor, that Sydney is in surgery and could live. And that's, ruins her whole plan.
Damn it.
But she doesn't say anything incriminating here. She says something to Gale, and that's what tips them off. I remember she talks about... Or no, yeah. Oh, yeah, she says it to him, but he's so stupid that he doesn't know it. I guess we already missed it, but what she said is something like, I guess I'm like Gale now with our matching shoulder wounds or something. To which Dewey in no way picks up on or anything. It's not until he repeats it to Gale or somebody that they figure it out. Like, how would you know that Gale has a shoulder wound? Because remember, this is all the same night. Gale got stabbed only a couple hours earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think we talked through it, but that's what she says. She says something like how she and Gale have matching shoulder wounds or something. And Dewey, being the idiot that he is, in no way picks up on it. Now, she's all super injured, and she's in a hospital surrounded by people, but she's going to go finish the job. I mean, I guess it makes sense that she wouldn't have, like, a police around them, because the police at this point do think the killer's dead, but aren't you still supposed to, just for the sake of being cautious, still have a police guard? I don't know. Like, none of this has been confirmed. Yeah, see, he says, with your matching... And she's like, duh, Dewey, how did she know that?
Do
Detective?
what? Hold on.
Dewey?
Do what now?
Duh, oh, crap.
Oh.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it's like Barney 5.
I think somebody calls him Barney Fife in one of the movies.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like, you're in a hospital and you're screaming, fucking die already! Ah! Like, no one's around. Take that, surgery wound.
I'm still on pain meds, bitch.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Man, I've been hit, like, I have had, like, not deliberately, but I've been hit where I've been stitched, and man, it's
Really?
like fire. It's like fire. Once again, he's super inept. Bedpan. Teenage girl beating the shit out of him.
With a bedpan.
an injured teenage girl, and he's an armed cop. She just takes him out. He's the sheriff.
Yeah, this year.
I mean, how can he be sheriff after this? You know, you fire the gun, and somebody's going to hear, as empty as this hospital is. Firing the gun still can't be. All right, here's Officer Perky. You have a backup. Don't cops have backups?
Yeah.
You know, like in their boot or whatever? What I do is slide the gun over, draw the backup, bam!
How is she so professional?
You have to kill a lot of people, Jill. I mean, you already have, but I mean, this is all at once kind of thing.
Oh, fuck.
All right, she hit her in the vest.
Oh, she did? Oh, she got her in the head.
Yeah, that's how it looks. Again, I think they're just trying to fuck with us. The way her head spins back, but no, she took it in the chest.
Probably not her first time at that.
But boom. Yeah, but she wants to take it from
Dewey.
Super Cop on the floor there. So just fucking do it then. You shot the cop without hesitation. What's all this monologuing? Clear.
I always wondered if that would actually kill you.
I don't think she's quite dead. This is good. Don't fuck with the original. Yeah, I guess it did kill her. I thought maybe they had to kill her again. I think it will kill. It's possible it wouldn't kill you if it was turned down low enough, but it's one of those things you can turn up really high, right? So I assume if it's high enough, it would fry you. But yeah, see, she's not dead. In fact, she doesn't seem to have any trouble. See, that's how you shoot someone, Dewey.
That's how it works.
Dewey would have put like 3 in the ceiling. She's fine. She says, wear your vest, save your chest, or something. That's good. Those implants are expensive. You gotta protect them.
Exactly.
I do like that shot, and I like that line. So it's not great or anything, but I was satisfied with the movie because I was like, okay, you didn't kill off the main people. Dewey, Gale, and Sydney remain alive.
Still better than 3.
Yeah. 3 is just so goofy. Again, I can enjoy it for that, but like as part of the Scream trilogy, it's annoyingly goofy.
Yeah.
Is that the last film he ever directed?
Film, probably.
Scream 4! But yeah, so I mean, it was marginally satisfying as for somebody like me who's a fan of the Scream series. And yeah, I do think it's better than 3. So.
Yeah. Well, cool. You wanna end this now and maybe come back on in just a little bit with another video?
Okay, we can do an intermission.
Because I'm really trying to decide what we're gonna do next.
Okay, sure. So yeah, anybody watching, stay tuned. We'll try to do an intermission and coordinate what the second movie will be.
I'm just gonna do a whole nother.
It'll be a separate it'll be a separate thing, but you can find it. So yeah, we can end here and figure out what is something that we both have. It's probably going to be some sort of Stephen King adaptation, we think, unless something comes out of there. So okay, so that's Scream 4, and we'll be back quite shortly with the mystery movie.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, see you soon. Long one.